one of my most influential bootleg videos that I ever saw is right behind you, right there,
yeah,
Mr. Bungle.
the Mr. Bungle.
What was your guys' most influential bootleg video you ever saw?
The first one I ever got at the Walden Galleria flea market, or the
Super Flea.
The Super Flea.
And you know how like when you walk in and there's just little like
Oh, yeah,
storefronts everywhere? Like this one
I know.
I was 8 years old, and we were in the flea market with my parents, and I see this big poster with like, and I was already huge into Kiss and shit. But I seen this big poster, and it was of King Kong, but it said King Kong has nothing on Paul Stanley, and King Kong had like a siren on his eye, and I was like, that's a fucking Kiss store, and it was just this dude who I'm still in contact with. The whole thing was all Kiss. It's everything in this store. It was like, that's when I realized like, heaven doesn't exist, but only in like specific areas of your life.
See that? Like growing up and going to Super Flea a bunch of times, a lot of times actually. Like actually, there was a point when me and a kid that we know used to go. He used to run a booth, and we used to go up there and sell his Star Wars action figures on the weekends, specifically to make money to go buy bootlegs from the guy.
Yeah,
at the bootleg shop, to the point where like he had the binder with all the bootlegs written out in it, and
was it the hippie guy?
Yeah.
He
had him out. He had him out in his van, like the bootlegs. Like you weren't really supposed
van
to talk about them, but if you were in the know, like he'd show you the book, and then he'd pick one out, and
he had lists.
And actually, I think for me, as far as my most influential bootlegs, weren't really a video bootleg, even though I had a bunch of like really cool Marilyn Manson ones. Were probably like the Nirvana Incesticides, like the first 4 ones.
Yeah.
And I was kind of telling you a little story earlier on the way here that I didn't want to elaborate too deep on, but there was a point where I had met Chris Novoselic, and one of the questions I had was asking about this particular bootleg where Nirvana was over in Europe, and they had covered the Doors song "The End."
Right.
But they had changed the lyrics to being about like eating breakfast and waffles. So when I got a chance to meet him and spend a day hanging out with him, I was asking him about that, and he was basically like, man, we were so fucking drunk, we didn't know what we were doing. And we were in Europe, so nobody really understood what we were saying anyways. So for me, like, definitely the Nirvana Incesticides, which were just like all the unreleased songs and deep cuts and...
On audio?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was cassette at the time.
Yeah, I started with videos and like VHS tapes, and Kiss from Houston in 1977 was my first one. I'll never forget it because I walked into that elaborate Kiss shop.
Oh yeah,
and like the only thing I wanted was video footage. I didn't really give a fuck about anything else that was in that store, and there was everything. And I still, to this day, I mean, concert videos and bootlegs are my number one go-to for things to watch.
Yeah, but now it's so much easier. Now you got YouTube on your phone. You can just sit at home and pull it all up.
Oh, I still buy... I like that tape. I still buy physical products on DVD from bootlegs, from collectors and stuff. I'll still spend the $15.
One thing I will say about that particular Mr. Bungle, because we have watched it plenty of times, is the best part is obviously when Mike Patton jumps in the crowd, starts bashing the guy in the head with the microphone. So that was...
You know, the real heroes of the concerts scenes in like the 70s, 80s, and 90s were those filmers.
Oh yeah.
Like I've done extensive research on what these people had to do to get cameras in, and it like
when
go ahead.
Back in the 90s, like I had a little handheld tape recorder, and I thought like having these bootlegs around, I always thought like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be that guy, and like
yeah, I did that
sneak the tape recorder in and record these shows, but then you listen back to them and you're like, what the fuck? Like this is the reverb off the walls. Like I remember my first Pumpkins concert, like I had the tape recorder and I was holding on to it for dear life because it got fucking chaotic in there.
Yeah.
But then listening to it afterwards, like you just hear me talking shit about people and shit going down, and like you just hear bass rumbling off the walls, and it was a bad look.
I realized the best place to put a tape recorder for a show is in your back pocket, specifically with your wallet, so it doesn't move around that much. And then you get, if it stands up with the microphone, that's how I got that really good audio of like Joan Jett and North Tonawanda and Blue Oyster Cult. There's a way to do it, because you were probably just like holding it in the air. Like...
wrapped up in a concert shirt. No, actually a funny thing is like the very first time I ever ate mushrooms, was at a Bob Dylan concert.
That was your first time?
Yeah, that was my first time.
Fuck.
So
that explains
Yeah.
so much.
Were you there?
Oh, so
I got the shrooms.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
no. This is how it. Okay, so we were maybe I was in 11th grade, so that would have made you in 12th grade. So Bob Dylan's coming to Buff State, and we're like, fuck yeah, we're going to see Bob Dylan. And we had some other friends that were supposed to go with us, and ended up not going. So we ended up having this extra ticket. So we pull up to the spot. We're pre-gaming in the car, and some like hippie is walking by with a backpack, and he's looking for an extra ticket. And I think Bob rolls the window down, is trying to do the transaction. He's looking for the ticket. Bob's looking for mushrooms. Just so happens.
Were you actually actively looking?
Yeah. Oh, he was like,
I'm always looking.
Yeah,
So
I understand that.
we're sitting in the car. We're just hanging out, and we're like, Bob's like, let's get some mushrooms. I never did psychedelics at this point, and I'm like, okay, like let's get some mushrooms. So we're talking about it. It was a rainy day too, so that's why we were stuck in the car. This guy comes by with the book bag, looking for the tickets, and Bob's like, you got mushrooms? Like, yeah. Like, well, we got a ticket.
How are
We
you
got
in
mushrooms.
this fucking spot? How do you get in these spots?
That's how it happens. So
Same way I got a free muffler today.
so basically,
Being fucked over with an extra ticket and having to get rid of it.
basically it was a perfect thing. Like, he needed a ticket, we needed mushrooms. Eat the mushrooms, I'm fucking tripping instantly. Like, I didn't even know what tripping was, but I was tripping instantly.
Like 10 minutes. This guy
But-
was rolling.
Yeah,
They
but
kick in fast for me too. I always say like, oh, it's gonna be
So-
45 minutes. It's always quicker than that for me.
and like I said, I'm tripping. That's my first time. When we get in and we're on the floor because it was at the Buff State, the hockey arena or whatever.
Basketball.
Oh, was that
Or the basketball
It was at Buff
arena.
State.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been in there. I've seen shows.
So-
Springfest shows there that they used to throw.
While we're there and just like tripping balls, and there was a guy next to us, like one of the old school bootlegger guys with the old school bootlegging console, and just had it set up, and he's right next to us, like the big fucking thing, using his lighter to see the tape counter and shit, and like just didn't know what the fuck was going on. Obviously, I'm tripping too. And the worst part about that is I had the worst cotton mouth, and the fucking drinking fountains were on the other side of the arena, so I'd have to get up, walk to the other side of the arena, get a drink, come all the way back, go all the way back. It was a fucking mess, but... And then I think afterwards we went to Farley Repairs and fucking...
Friendlies. Got some.
Yeah,
fucking-
hung out and fucking...
Some ice cream sundaes and shit.
But yeah, so I remember being like...
Mushrooms, ice cream sundaes,
And I think that the
Bob
guy-
Dylan.
It was the weirdest ice cream sundae I've ever eaten in my life.
I'm sure it was.
I couldn't get through it. It was fucking
Yeah,
weird.
no,
Yeah,
it was...
eating on that shit is impossible.
Oh yeah, but just remember being there like the first time tripping. I was like 15 or 16, and you got the old school guy with the fucking huge machine. He might have had a microphone on a little stand. It was crazy.
So you want to hear the rest of that story that James is leaving out?
Yeah.
I do.
All right. So we are in line, and
I knew.
he is instantly like tripping balls.
Okay.
Like, and he's like,
Hey, after-
"You guys aren't feeling this? You guys don't feel this yet?" And we're like, "I'm feeling like a little bit, but yeah." It's
All right, so
pretty
hold on,
tough."
real quick. What have you done at this time before? Just smoke weed?
Just some. I mean, this is even like I'm only like even a year into being a pothead at this point.
All right, good. Okay, go ahead.
And the first drug I ever did was eat mushrooms. So
Really?
Yeah.
Is that true?
yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah. And
Oh,
so,
it's great because it segues into the whole topic today too.
Yeah.
we'll get there, but
so he is like losing his shit in line. We're just like, dude, chill so we can get in the show, and then everything is fine.
Yeah.
And so he did calm down enough to like.
Was he
get
like
to-
screaming it and
He
shit?
wasn't screaming, but his eyes were huge, and he was just
Yeah.
like, shit's getting weird.
yeah, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I didn't know. I was very naive to psychedelia at that point.
Yeah. So we go in, and I'm like, Amy Mann opened up.
Oh, okay.
And so she's pretty solid, but she was like an unknown at that point, but it's still pretty good. And so we run into people we know from school. He goes and sits with our friend and her mom.
Yeah.
Up in the fucking
Oh, yeah.
stands. I'm meanwhile like firing up number after number, and I'll smoke a fucking joint, and then I'll just have to sit down because shit's getting way too
Yeah.
intense.
Yeah.
Dylan was having a great time. He did like 3 encores.
Oh, yeah, it was-
He was wasted, super happy because everyone was loving it. It was right after the Unplugged.
So what year is?
recording.
Do you know the year?
96.
It was
Okay.
96. It was like the spring of 96.
It was early. It was like even winter of 96. Like it was like March, April time frame. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, dude, it was an amazing show.
And then the best part about this is sitting up with my friend and her mom, because her mom is an old hippie, and like I just like I'm still friends with them to this day, mom and daughter, whatever. But at the time, like she knew I was fucking so high and shit. It was just like what do you, like just knew I was fucking fucked up. It was pretty funny, yeah. Welcome to Doors at 7, Kitchen at 9. We're back.
Episode what? Seven.
Shit.
So if you haven't already, hit like and subscribe so the algorithms will help us out. Otherwise, fuck you. So anyways,
all right, what are we talking about today?
Today, you know what? I think we've been talking about some restaurant shit. We've been talking about whatever. So our little intro that we have with the cute little song and us setting up stuff on the thing. What's the text say? We're band guys, kitchen guys, telling you whatever happened and how it went.
And we failed at it all.
So yeah, which is funny because I have a friend that like said, "Oh yeah, I watched your Loser show." I'm like, "What the fuck does that even mean?" I'm like, "What the fuck is the Loser show?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, you failed at working at restaurants and being in a band. You heard the Loser show." So yeah, the Loser show.
This could be a rebrand.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to be the Loser show
No,
unless we
no.
get Beck on here with his acoustic guitar and fucking sing our theme song.
How do you feel about Scientology?
I
It
don't.
could happen.
I don't want to get into Scientology. But anyways, like our intro has a cute little text like band guys, kitchen guys, unsuccessful at both. And like obviously to tell a story of how we worked in a kitchen is basically like I went and filled out a fucking application and got the job.
Right.
So let's talk.
Sometimes, not always.
Or I knew somebody and they
Yeah,
got
if
me
you-
the
yeah,
job.
yeah.
I mean, there isn't too many places to go with that.
No, that's true.
If you got a cool story about how you got a job, we can talk about it. I don't really have any cool stories about it other than I filled out an application or I knew someone.
No,
So-
I got a good one, but I'm not going to talk
Yeah.
about it because I haven't started it yet.
So, yeah, you knew somebody.
yeah,
Is
yeah,
what it
true.
boiled down to.
Yeah.
So, anyways, like, let's talk about what influences someone to start a band. Because we had already talked about when you were young, your parents had instilled a belief in you that doing something like that was so unattainable. Like,
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
even try it.
For sure.
So let's do, instead of like a top 3 whatever list today, we'll do a 3-part thing. The person that influenced you to be in a band, the band that influenced you to be in a band, and a concert you saw that influenced you to be in a band.
All right, got it.
So who is the person that influenced you to be a disappointment to your parents?
Yeah. Probably my father.
Well, I'm saying when you go to your parents and say, "Mom, Dad, I want to be in a band," they're like, "Okay, cool." Like,
Well, I'm not saying that
we'll
they didn't
make sure we don't
support it.
fucking empty your room out because you'll be back here for the next 15 years.
Here's the thing. I gotta, like I said, I gotta give it to my dad for introducing me to what is going to be talked about heavily by me today, which is Kiss and Alice Cooper. That came all from my father. I don't feel my dad influenced me, but I would say as far as an actual person in my life that I knew and talked to, Mark Miller, Mad Dog.
Mm-hmm. And now, what was Mark's influence on you?
He was a concert promoter that I don't even know how the fuck I really met him, but I remember talking about starting a band, just, you know what I mean? But and he sort of told me, like, about how fucking sweet it is. I was probably, like, 12 or 13 years old. I'm trying to remember where I met him. But, and then I started working for him at shows, and then I started my first band because I was in high school at the time, and that's when that Korn cover
The
band.
Korn cover
Yeah,
band,
yeah,
which,
yeah.
oh man, we're gonna have to just bring all your guys out and get a Korn cover band reunion somewhere.
Absolutely.
Can we not talk about that band today?
It's my
Seven-
first band, man.
7 shows in, and we've talked more about a Korn cover band than any other.
What's funny
fucking
though,
band.
but that relates to Mark because Coheed and Cambria, the same night as that first show I ever played, was playing Town Ballroom, and they were like on like their first or second record or something. And Mark was going to flyer for his shows at the Coheed and Cambria show, where he would stand outside and fucking below freezing weather and hand out flyers to people making fun of him and throwing them at him.
Oh yeah, years before I ever knew Mark, I was ripping his shit up and throwing it at him. And
that's how I probably met him. Was him handing out flyers and talking to me. But
I remember he had the long hair at the time, and I thought he kind of looked like a Mitch Hedberg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely not like as cool as a Mitch Hedberg, but I remember him handing out these Boss Tribal things outside of the
say
town
what you
ballroom.
will about Mark. I mean, the dude puts in more work than just about anybody.
Oh yeah,
in everything he does. I completely agree with you. And he was my best friend and music mentor, and that's the guy who definitely got me started. And once I started working for him at shows and stuff, the connections that I obtained and people I met through him.
I mean, despite all the stuff that we've had to say at this point, or just all the hijinks that have happened with Mark, like he's definitely put the work in, and he knows I respect him for that. And every few months I just DM him with some ideas that I have or whatever.
And if you play video games and love video games and old school video games, AWWMON Games is Mark's thing, and he actually does really well with it. He buys and sells games, and good for him. He's also a rapper. But no, Mark's a good guy, but he's definitely the
So he was the one
outside of the bands that I fell in love with instantly. Yeah, because I didn't have sports and shit as a kid. Like it was strictly music. Like that's it. That's all I fucking did.
So here's basically a young little Chris Keebzak going to a show and getting a flyer from Mark, and then did you have a guitar at this point? Like
actually. So I guess I gotta give it to my father again. He did. I did. I got a Squire for Christmas when I was probably 10 years old, 11 years old, something like that.
And then you still had your leftover Halloween makeup so you could do the Ace Frehley shit and sit there and play the Detroit Rock City riff in your bedroom?
Absolutely. That's the first stuff I started learning. Yeah, it was Kiss shit, of course. But, okay, so who influenced you?
Now, I guess my influence, and it's never a good day when I gotta sit here and create accolades for this particular person, and it's happened 2 or 3 times probably in the last however long I've known this person. But it is actually Bob.
Oh, shit.
Is it?
And I have actually given him accolades, I think, 3 times in the 25 or 26 years we've been friends. And I'll tell you why Bob.
Shit, man, that was a joke on my part.
Well, I mean, not only...
But no, I understand.
On top, I mean, Bob fits into all the things I got to talk about today. And we were in 2 bands together. And I don't even know how many hundreds of shows we've attended to, so...
Right.
I'll give you a quick little rundown of how I even met Bob. So, early of 1995, I was moving from one school district to the school district that we graduated from. Now, before... And, I had a lot of problems from the school I came with, so I'm, ready for this new, fresh start. And a couple days before I attended school, I had to go into the office and hand in, my paperwork to switch over schools.
All right.
So as I'm walking in the front door of the school, there's this weird-looking, long-haired, bug-eyed kid walking down the hallway as I'm walking in the door, but he's got a Zildjian cymbal shirt on.
All right.
And like I said, I came from a school that I had a lot of issues for a lot of years at the school, and I'm looking for the fresh start. I walk in, and I'm really getting into punk and shit at this time, because I was always a hip-hop kid growing up. And
so what was the first band to turn you on to that kind of shit then?
Green Day.
Yeah.
We'll get to that. I mean, it started with Nirvana. It made its way to Green Day.
All right.
Because the Longview video I had seen on 120 Minutes a year before Dookie came out. And I was just blown away, what the fuck is going on? These dudes are playing in a closet. The bass line is sweet as fuck.
Yeah.
The lead singer is jumping off this couch and stabbing it with a knife. This is fucking kind of cool. So anyways, I walk in to hand these papers in, and I see this dude with a Zildjian cymbal shirt on. And I'm I might be alright at this school. There's at least some, rock kids that I could get into, or meet, or whatever. So fast forward, a week later, and it's my first day of school. And I'm just, kind of getting in there, starting to know people and shit. And I think it was, 5th or 6th period CAD class. The same individual I saw with the Zildjian shirts is walking into this class. And we just kind of bump into each other. I'm hey, what's up? And then he's hey, what's up?
James totally planned that. James all right, he's going to be walking out of this room.
Yeah, it was stalking the dude or whatever. But, so this motherfucker's I'm tripping on mushrooms right now.
It was acid.
Was it? I thought it was mushrooms, but anyways, my first introduction to the dude, he's tripping. Like I said, I didn't eat mushrooms until that Bob Dylan show like a year later.
Right.
But we ended up like being in the same class, like liking the same music until he started finding we got more to be more friends, and he started finding out shit I liked, so then he hated it automatically. I mean,
Yeah, it's Bob.
and it's funny because like I see Reed, who kind of like looks like Bob a little bit, except your dad had longer hair at the time, and you're a much nicer and more well-behaved kid than he was. But anyway, so like we're like hit it off and shit, because like oh, I play drums, and I'm like, oh, cool. And he's still his gray Tama 5-piece Rockstar fucking drums that have been around forever. I see you got your black set
around
on.
so long.
I know
they're actually white.
I know
They started white.
They've been great for a long time. So like we kind of like start hanging out and shit, and then I think like you had just got in your car, so we started hanging out and being able to go places. I wasn't even old enough to drive. I think the very first time me and Bob hung out, like we went to the McKinley Mall and found some kids in the parking lot we were trying to buy pot off of, and who the fuck knows, maybe we went to Mighty Taco. We weren't throwing fireworks and shit in windows yet.
No, you had to let
We were actually looking specifically for a trendy people.
I know, I was just gonna get there. So in the mall, like there was a guy, like I'm a huge fucking sticker collector. Like we'll do a day when we do collections.
You gotta bring your binder.
I got fucking thousands and thousands. There was a guy in the middle of the McKinley Mall that had a little booklet of all the stickers he was selling, and I bought a sticker that said "Trendy People Suck," and that was kind of like a little inside thing that we had going on. And I think, did I give you the sticker?
Yeah.
And you had it on your car for the longest time?
Yep.
But then we wanted to go buy some more copies, so we were like going to find the sticker guy.
Alright.
So that's like how we started hanging out. Which kind of segues into the band that kind of influenced me, even though this was 1995. I didn't start playing guitar till the year 2000.
Alright, let me stop you real quick. He's in love with you. No. His eyes are just glowing. It's
Further
like,
from the truth. I don't...
There's a lot to like.
Listen, I swear to fucking God, if I see edits that have little hearts, I'm gonna be fucking pissed.
You listening to this?
I can see the gears turning in me right now. Like, oh, I can see
James
it.
is mean mugging him right now.
I can already see where this is going. So
I was waiting to say that since the beginning. Of
I
the
know you
story.
have.
I'm
You're
just
sitting there like
fucking around. All right.
the most energy I ever had. You're like, I can't wait. I'm gonna say it. I swear to God, if I see little hearts.
All right, so okay.
So anyways,
Sorry
like,
to throw you off the band.
No, this kind of goes into the band thing too. So, like that first year, like we're kind of like, hey, it's like the last half of the school year. We're like hanging out, whatever. But at some point during the summer of '95, Bob ends up going to the very first Warped Tour.
Where was that? Melody Fair?
Which was the
or
Melody
that?
Fair parking lot,
Right.
which was Sublime, No Use for a Name, Ep7, Orange 9mm.
That was the very first Warped Tour ever? Yeah.
Yep.
Now, I didn't go to the show, but we were still hanging out and shit. I remember him coming back and be like, yo, there's this fucking band I saw, like they're the fucking greatest thing ever. And it ended up being the band Sublime.
Right.
Now, a funny story about that particular show, and it's a well-documented thing, is like they had a lot of problems on this tour because they were just so out of control. They ended up getting completely shit-faced, and Bradley was so drunk, like he couldn't really sing. So this huge like mud fight happened. They had hay on the ground. They were hosing it down. People were just grabbing mud, throwing it at the band.
Right.
There's video footage of it. Like Bradley's fucked. There's even video footage, like we've gone back and dissected it, where Bob is in the crowd picking up dirt and throwing.
No, that's
yeah,
not me.
you are.
That is not
that
me.
is you.
It's not me.
No, he says he's picking up a sticker, which is a good excuse because
I was picking up a sticker.
if a sticker's on the ground, they throw stickers out in the crowd.
Listen, if I would have thrown mud at the band, I would have said I threw mud at the band.
Yeah, he
All
would.
right? Especially because I mean, me liking Sublime is not winning me any points with anybody nowadays.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, they fucking ruled.
But yeah, because that's probably why you liked him so much. Like the dude's so fucking drunk, he can't even fucking sing his songs. He's playing solos in the wrong
Do you
key.
still
and shit.
listen to them, or do you like? Because I listen to them a lot more now than I did like back in the day. But I wasn't. Bradley was already dead by the time I was able.
Well, this is the thing. Like he kind of discovered the band by seeing them.
So
And
no
then,
one
like,
knew who they were before that
no,
first Warped Tour
but-
at all? Like,
No.
Warped Tour broke that band.
I think
a little
in the United
bit.
States, like overall, like,
Right.
Like,
people
they're
in
self-
California knew them.
Right.
Yeah, and their self-title wasn't even out yet. Like, this is still, like, they're on 40 Ounces of Freedom and Robbing the Hood. But anyways, he ends up getting the tape for 40 Ounces of Freedom, and we're driving around listening to shit, and mind fucking blown. That's like
Also, this is pre-MCA, so it had songs that are unreleased,
Yeah.
like Rawhide. It had
Yeah,
a bunch
the
of samples
original-
in there for like Barbie dolls, like the wind-up Barbie dolls. Like, there's a bunch of like really cool Sublime stuff.
And you
that
still have
can't-
your original 95 tour shirt from that show, too, don't you?
Yeah.
Because you had the shirt with the sun and, like...
I actually wore it to the last Warped Tour.
Did you? Oh, yeah, you did. That's right. And it's all fucking beat up. It looks like moths live in it and shit. They had a pretty long rock and roll lifestyle, but needless to say, like, nobody, like, no one knew who the fuck this band was, but because he went there and saw this dude all fucked up and possibly may or may not have been picking up stickers or mud. We'll debate that other times, even though that we'll have to slow the video down. But we get this tape, 40 Ounces of Freedom, and it's like, what the fuck is going on here? This is hip-hop, this is reggae, this is punk, like, this is fucking everything we like. And they're just, like, partying and smoking weed and shit. Like, we're at that age that everything they were about was the same shit we were about. So it was a life-changing moment. Like, this is our new shit.
There still
Like-
hasn't been a band that, like,
But
has incorporated all that stuff in the way that Sublime has, really, right? I mean, you would know more than me as far as that
I
goes.
mean, not to be the revolutionary, like, bringing a new thing. Like, everyone's trying to copy that sound.
Yeah. But I feel
Can you
no
really-
one...
Go, sorry.
But,
No, go ahead.
Can you really call it a new thing when all they did was play old songs?
Yeah, that-
other people's songs?
but the way they did it was a new thing. Their approach to it was a little... And what their end product was. Even though, yeah, a lot of it was... And that was the thing about Sublime is... They wanted to be the DJ where they're incorporating these different things.
Right.
But nonetheless, like, it was a point, like, we're rolling around with this shit for, like, a whole year before the self-titled even comes out. And, like, it was at the point where, I don't know if this happened before he died or after, I think it was after he died, so. Anyways, we're rolling around, like, Sublime's the new shit, like, we're onto this. Nobody else really knows about it, so we're like, sweet, like, we got this underground fucking thing that we know about, nobody else does. And I specifically remember the day in 96 when Bradley passed away. Because I remember hearing about it on the radio. We already knew who he was, but most people didn't. And, like, Bob came into school and, like, came into lunch or something. I think we had probably talked about it in the morning, but we're like, dude, Brad's dead. Like, fuck school. Like, we're skipping school for the rest of the day. We're going to go fucking smoke some weed in his honor and shit. So, and then after he passed, we had this, like, thing. Like, Brad was not our guardian angel, but he was our partying angel.
My God.
No, listen, so...
Yeah, no, that gets legit.
So, back in that day, there's no cell phones, like, there's no consistent weed hookup. So it's like every day is a guess, like, where are you going to get weed? Like, are you going to find the guy? What's the price going to be? Whatever. It's never good. We didn't even know what good weed was. We just knew, like, how to take seeds out of it and shit. So if we were rolling around trying to score some pot and we couldn't find anybody, we would put the Sublime tape on, and within an hour of putting that, before the tape was over, we would find pot. Even if it was, like, the most desperate, like, nobody had any. Like, by the time, like, the song DJs on the second side comes on, like, we just happen to run into somebody that just happened to have something. So this was for a long time. Like, it never fucking failed. Bradley came through with us every single fucking time.
I remember doing like 3 rounds through the fucking neighborhood and nobody had nothing. And on the 4th round or 3rd round was over, the 4th round, like someone right on Main Street.
Yeah,
like,
all of a sudden-
dude, hey,
Yeah.
let's talk to him.
So, like,
Thank
Bradley
God
was...
those days are over, where you can just find... You know
Bradley
where-
was legit the partying angel for us. And then, like, a little sub-story to that afterwards, like, years later, not many years later, maybe 5, it's like the year 2000, we're kind of, like, growing up a little bit out of high school. Warped Tour used to be, like, our summer thing. Like, we look forward to it every summer. Like, Warped Tour's coming, like, let's go to Bill's house at 9 in the morning, let's everyone pre-game, and we're gonna just go spend the entire day, like... That's the one thing to look forward to all summer long is to get to Warped. And the first year we didn't go to Warped Tour. Like, Bob was trying to be professional and working some jobs and school, whatever. I had a job. And I think they'd even moved out of LaSalle Park at that point too. So we're like, kind of bummed out. But then the Long Beach Dub All Stars, which was all members of Sublime minus Bradley, and then their whole crew, they were on this Warped Tour along with the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. I think I told you about how we got to the border and his mom didn't want me bringing pot across the border, but the dude, like, no effects and was like, go, go, go. Yeah. So he calls me like, dude, let's go to Toronto on Saturday and fucking catch the Warped Tour. And I was like, fuck yeah, let's do it. Long Beach Dub All Stars are playing there. And I didn't bring any pot.
This is at LaSalle?
No, this is up in Toronto.
Oh, sure, yeah, Toronto. We're at Molson?
Barrie. Yeah, was it Molson Park and Barrie?
Which one?
The
Long Beach Dub? Yeah.
So, like, we roll up to the spot, got no pot. And I remember, and I still have this fucking sticker on my guitar to this very day. I had it on my car for years. Then I took it off and put it on my guitar. Still have it. Went and got a Long Beach Dub All-Star sticker. It's got, like, Lou Dog, an old fucking record player, Long Beach Dub All-Stars, whatever. While we're sitting there, like, there's this fat fucking half joint on the merch table. And I'm, like, fiending for some weed at this point. And I'm like, man, if it was any other fucking band, I would probably just fucking grab this roach and start fucking hitting it. Yeah. But out of respect to Bradley and our partying angel and all the shit he's done for us, I'm going to let it slide, just leave it. So at some point, like, we're, like, the whole Sublime crew is fucking there, so I got my little Long Beach Dub All-Stars right back, fucking cassette, liner notes, whatever. I'm like, I'm going to try to find... We're basically going around trying to find the guys and have them, like, autograph the shit. And I remember, like, we ended up getting everybody's autograph. At one point, and, like, me and Bob had split up, and then Miguel, who was the producer, like, actually had Lou Dog on tour with him.
Oh, that's rad.
Which, Lou Dog being the fucking pretty much mascot of the band. Right. And, like, he came out of the bus walking Louie, and I remember this was, like, 2000, nobody had cell phones, but he had one, and somebody called him while we were talking, and I remember he's like, I'm in Canada, signing an autograph. But anyways, I think I got Bob, like, dude, like, found him, like, dude, like, fucking Louie's here, like, let's go fucking see Miguel, and, like, we're legit petting Lou Dog.
Oh, that's really
like, we meet Bud, like, Bud...
He's like, where are you guys from? James is like, New York.
He's trying to represent the East Coast. But it was sweet, like, Opie, the singer, he's also the tattoo guy that designed the 40-ounce Sun. Like, got to meet him. You got the ticket. Oh, nice. Like, Bud.
Oh, that's really sweet.
Bud, the drummer, like, he was sitting in a lawn chair. He's just all fucking wasted, like, just sitting there, like, barely alive, but he signed, like, his autograph a little hard on it. And then we found Eric, like, pounding some fucking liquor somewhere.
That's just Miguel.
How'd you keep these? Like, some of my ticket stubs are all faded.
So are mine.
Shit.
I got so many faded ones.
I thought you were flipping through money.
Backstage for Santana. I got like my Neil Young Crazy Horse, fucking backstage all access and shit.
I gotta bring some. You gotta bring your stubs too.
I know, I got them in so many fucking places.
Start talking about the shows randomly.
So we're just kind of like mixing about and like meeting all the members of Sublime and shit, like, and their crew. And it was a super fucking sweet and super epic moment because we had just spent the last 5 years of our childhood listening to this shit nonstop. So I remember this one point, like, we're all stoked. Like, we just got done petting fucking Lou Dog. Like, who do you know is ever gonna fucking say they fucking got to pet Lou Dog? We're walking around and there's a group of kids sitting by a bush and they're smoking a fucking blunt. And now, mind you, Bob has been not smoking for like 2 years.
All right.
Just drinking. We got a bottle of rum out at the fucking liquor store, whatever. His mom wouldn't let me bring some weed, whatever. So we're walking by. These kids are smoking a blunt. They're all sitting in a circle. So I go up to him and I'm like, your country doesn't allow me to bring marijuana across the border, so I'm going to have to hit this joint. And they're just looking at me like, what the fuck? And like,
yeah, what a like scumbag move.
So, like I said,
hi guys, how you doing, man? I gotta come across the border. I couldn't bring my shit. I'm hitting that fucking thing.
I had a little bit of rum in me.
Okay.
And plus, I was excited. I just met all the Sublime dudes.
Yeah, duty free on the way over, man.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, true.
They're sitting there, and at some point, like, they're looking up, like, confused. So, like, you put your hands up naturally. So the hand goes up with the blunt in it, so it's like kind of looks like a pass.
Yeah.
So I'll snatch it up and start hitting it, because I had some rum. I need to get high now. So I'm hitting it. I'm about to pass it back, and then Bob's like, "What? You're not gonna pass it to me?" Dude hasn't smoked weed in 2 fucking years. I'd already learned like I'm not passing him shit anymore. So we're like, "Oh, here he goes." So we end up like smoking pretty much like they're half of.
Dude, we hand it back just
Yeah.
the fucking
Oh
roach.
my!
Because I hand it back to him. He hands it back to me. I hand it back to him, and then it goes back to the kids.
Yeah. So we're just like smoking on their shit, whatever. Like
it was the first time in like a year and a half I smoked weed. I was gonna make it count.
Yeah, right. Just
Listen.
look at the kids' faces.
we're from New York.
Yes.
This is how we do it. But anyways, the most bizarre fucking scene happened later on. So we're like checking all the bands, and this is actually even a show where Bob actually appreciated Green Day a little bit. Because he used to give me a lot of shit for liking Green Day, because I was really big into them.
Yeah.
To the point where, like, I wasn't running with the popular kids in school. Like, I was running with my crew of, like, the stoner kids, but we all got along. And the table I would sit at, like, the popular kids that I'm all friends with today, they would just fucking bust my chops and be like, "Do you like Green Day?" And ask me this shit all the time, to the point where, like, they would get girls to write the shit on their head, and they'd tap me on the shoulder, and they'd turn around and say, "Do you like Green Day?" on some fucking girl's forehead. So people's like, yeah.
What?
You weren't in that long, you might have been graduated at this point, but people used to fuck with me for liking Green Day. And you actually, like, enjoyed them at that show, which is kind of bizarre. I mean, they were playing a lot. They were just taking requests. They didn't even have a set list.
No, those.
Buzzhound tried that at Dave's Party. Didn't work for us. It worked for Green Day at this fucking Warped Tour.
When did you give up on Green Day?
In November.
No, actually, I think when like American Idiot came out and like more of the acoustic shit kind of like threw me off for a while. But the last couple of years, I've been behind the scenes going back to old Green Day and shit. So I still
Dookie's still a great, and that's one of the first songs I remember hearing on radio.
My very first show I ever went to was Green Day in 1995 on the Insomniac tour.
Oh, where was that at?
That was at the Niagara Falls Convention Center, which is now the casino.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to this Warped Tour shit. The most bizarre thing is Long Beach Dub All-Stars, they had their bus pulled up, and they had, like, inflatable swimming pools.
All right.
Because, I mean, they're in Toronto, and they're from California. They need some fucking water, somewhere to sit. So, after they're done playing, they have, like, 2 buses pulled up, and in between the 2 buses, they have these pools that they're filling up, and they're just, like, chilling. The whole gang is there. They, like, got their lawn chairs out. They're drinking beers, smoking. There was legit. Now, they're parked over here, and then there's, like, a row of bushes separating, like, where they were.
Okay.
There was legit 20 or 30 kids sat down in front of this row of bushes, like Indian style, and they're just watching.
In a circle around the band.
Just
Really?
sitting there, they're not talking, they're not interacting, they're just sitting there watching the band hang out.
Like, they weren't even talking to each other.
And is the band paying attention to them?
They're just
They
doing-
were weird
they
the
were-
fuck out. dude.
Yeah,
and we're just like, what the fuck? Like, they're like legit, like sitting down, like they're watching a movie or something.
Yeah.
And they're just sitting Indian style watching the band hanging out. But there's no, like, interaction between the two of
That
them.
is fucking really.
Yeah, we got the fuck out of
Yeah.
there.
Were you guys in the circle
No.
at any
No.
point?
We were walking
Come
by
on.
like, what
We
the
were gonna go
no.
hang. We're like,
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
gonna go, legit, like, fucking party and hang out.
Yeah, and then we like saw this shit, we're like, and like they were getting kind of weirded out too. Like, all right, let's just fucking like go watch the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones right now.
Well, those guys never really felt fame either, did they?
I mean, maybe out in Cali, like
Because once
where they
Brett,
were.
I mean, how popular were they before Bradley died?
They
Like,
didn't get. He
weren't.
died.
At
He
all,
died
right?
before this, like the week before the self-titled album
In
came
college,
out.
like how they were getting like that fucking song was Date Rape was getting college play on
Yeah.
like, the radio stations.
Out in California.
Well, no, like,
Oh, it was getting
actually
around here,
making it
too?
Around like the college scene because it was still a really big indie college radio scene at that point.
Right.
And so they were doing really good on there. They were booking more and more shows and like making big shit happen, like working with Paul Leary, you know.
Yeah.
On self-titled.
I think right after the Long Beach Dub All Stars, I probably went to Bill's house like, dude, let me buy that guitar off you. Like, I'm starting a fucking band, or at least starting to learn. And then, even more so, like that first year, learning my C chord, my G chord, you know, that shit you do when you first.
Right, yeah.
Now I'm not going and hanging out as much because I'm like, I gotta learn these guitar chords. I gotta fucking learn a scale. So, Bob was living in Rochester going to RIT. I used to go there on the weekends. Now our buddy Charlie, his older brother, was kind of having a band going, but they were just fucking, they weren't really doing anything. They pretended they had a band going, which was like, show up, jam for 5 minutes, and then fuck off and smoke everybody's pot and bounce. And they had this like, and another buddy of ours, they were jamming. They had this really fucking lame song that was like an EFG progression. Used to make fun of it all the time, but that was kind of inspiring. Like, I need to go get a guitar and just fucking do this shit myself because you guys don't know what the fuck you're doing. But Charlie's brother had gone out and bought this 4-track recorder, this big ass fucking, like the old school ones.
Not like the little.
No.
I have a 4-track cassette recorder.
Yeah, but this was like the old
big.
board, like from the 70s, like 60 pounds, like can barely fit in the back seat of your car kind of thing.
Right. Got it.
And I'd also somehow come across the Tascam 505 drum machine. And I'm sitting in my basement and I'm making little tapes and shit. So one weekend I'm like calling Bob like, yo, what's up? He's like, oh, come up to fucking Rochester, let's fucking hang, whatever. And I'm like, yo, I got a guitar, I got this fucking 4-track, I got a drum machine, like, let's fucking record some shit.
You guys could have been Ween.
No, listen, I'll throw them back. Remember Grease Paint and Monkey Brains?
I got that somewhere.
Do ya?
Yeah.
That's
But
you.
the-
It was,
No.
it was Monkey Brains and Antifreeze.
Okay,
that's the Rob
was
White
it-
Zombie song.
I was saying, it was, okay, yeah, I was saying, there was
Yeah,
a, there was
right.
a
I
B,
thought it sounded familiar.
there was a B-side to that too that you had. It was some little tape Bob made when he was in band class. It was like his tape of his 2 songs that he did.
All right.
But it was kind of like the influence of what we were going to do. So I'm like, yo, I got this 4-track. I got this drum machine. I got a guitar. Like, you got a long weekend at school. Like, let's make something happen. And then, like, even your buddy, like, Jeff came out and had a bass guitar with him. So he, like, dropped the bass off at one point.
Yeah.
Now, funny story about this is, were you jamming with the med students?
Yeah.
Bob used to jam with these med students when he went to RIT. Like, they're going to be doctors. Like, the girl played a saxophone and shit. Like, it was a pretty cool little thing that they had going on. I went to a couple of these jams.
Was it a band or just getting together and jamming? Like, did
No,
you
they
ever-
played shows.
We played out once, I think.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So you guys actually wrote songs and stuff?
No, it was all covers.
Oh,
It was
really?
sweet. I mean, it was a weird vibe because you got these, like,
We had horn players though.
Yeah,
What covers were you doing?
Did you do that Morphine song?
We did Cure for the Pain. We did like Tahitian Moon.
Santeria.
Santeria. But then we would do like Son of a Preacher Man.
Yeah.
And just some like horrible stuff.
So
I
it was.
think
Son
that's
of a Preacher
cool
Man
as
was
hell.
okay. But
Yeah.
there was some really bad, like
And it was-
Yellow. I had to play fucking Yellow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It was all yellow. That song.
Dude, it was 5 minutes of the same beat. I
It
would
was
be
all
so
yellow.
drunk by the end of that song.
This is where he probably learned how to fucking play and be drunk at the same
well,
time.
because I could play that song one-handed, and so I'd have my plank in one hand and fucking stick.
So
it
it was like a weird little
5 minutes.
vibe, like
Yeah, you hate
You
playing
got
boring
these-
parts.
these uppity, real straight and narrow kids that were going to school to be a
They
doctor.
weren't all up.
Okay, they kind of they were stiff.
Bob with the defense.
let's just- they were-
They're all cool.
They were
It's-
good people. It was
Yeah.
it was a good band.
The lead singer thought her shit didn't stink, and she could not even sing.
Oh,
It was kind of a different vibe. I'm just saying, like,
That was the only drama there.
but they had a keyboard player. So their keyboard player was this fucking weirdo, like this curly haired spastic fucking weird dude who apparently was a kindergarten teacher.
He was a substitute teacher.
Which I remember going to the store with him to get a pack of cigs one day and getting in his car, and he just had like all like Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Dream. Dream had just come. Like this was his shit, and it's like this dude's teaching your little kids, but the same dude had like this infinite supply of Ritalin,
Yeah.
which was the
No,
equivalent.
he had Klonopin. He had the Klonopin.
Oh,
I thought he had
no.
the Ritalin.
No, I already had the Ritalin.
Okay, I thought it was the
We needed
Ritalin.
the Klonopin to counterbalance the Ritalin.
Somehow we had.
Dude. So
We're okay,
bad.
so we're doing this recording session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ritalin is like old school Adderall.
Which
Before-
is amphetamines.
Yeah.
Uppers.
Yeah.
So-
it's for people with like ADHD and stuff like that who can't like focus.
Yeah. So we
Or college kids looking to binge drink all
But
day.
Yeah,
people
exactly.
who don't have ADHD,
It
it's
makes
like
them.
It's like
it makes you.
cocaine in a pill, sort of. It gives you a lot of energy, like a bunch of coffee.
Okay, I always thought the fucking weird dude had the Ritalin, so that kind of bums me out a little bit
No,
because
he had the Klonopin because he was.
because he was always like just so tweaky.
Yeah.
He was just a weird
Do you
dude.
remember why he was tweaky?
No.
Okay, so he used to be a really normal like jock dude. He was on the crew team and shit.
And
like
this is
that.
your keyboard player.
This is the keyboard player.
Oh, okay.
Alright,
So
Yeah.
Okay.
And he went to a fish show and ate way too much acid, and then this happened.
Wow.
okay, now I'll give you an idea of like they got this little band.
So no more listening to Fish. You moved on to Britney Spears.
Yeah, like Christina
That's what I
Aguilera,
got
like-
out of this story
yeah, like
so
Genie
far.
in the Bottle and all
Yeah.
that shit.
Oh,
If you do too
wow.
much
So-
drugs and listen to too much Fish, you may start liking Britney Spears.
And then the best thing about this keyboard player now, they used to jam in like some off-campus housing that the members, these med students had down in the basement. They would be set up over here, and then I don't even know how they knew this dude, but they made sure he had like a 30-foot cord because they had him on the other side of the fucking basement by himself, away from like where the band is jamming. I don't even know if they had him turned up all the way or what, but like he stood there pretending he was playing his keys and
Safe spaces like 15 years before there was such a thing.
Wait. Why though?
That's
'Cause he
just
was a
where
weird
felt
dude.
Comfortable.
I thought you guys like made him go in that
Yeah,
corner.
that's
No.
like he did this.
I don't know,
He
it was-
did this on his own.
It was a weird fucking dude. But anyways, like I thought he had the fucking Ritalin. I guess he didn't. So I
Thank
don't know.
God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So,
But anyways,
okay, go ahead.
no, does he have any more to add about this guy?
The one show we played at this bar.
All right.
2 songs in, it was too much for him. He just had to go sit down.
Like
done.
didn't say anything. Did he just go?
He just stopped playing, went and sat down.
Which is probably good because I don't even know if they like had him at full volume when they were practicing or anything. But anyways, so like all these years I thought this dude had the Ritalin. I guess not. So whatever with this guy.
All right,
He's
so he has
still a
Klonopin,
fucking weirdo.
okay.
We're
Yeah.
in Rochester. It's a long weekend. I got the fucking big ass 4-track. I got the 505. Jeff brings the fucking bass. I'm still learning like the G and C chord, whatever. So me and Bob are like, all right, we're just gonna fucking eat Ritalin all weekend, and we're just gonna fucking record some tapes. Yeah, we're thinking like Ween 4-track type of shit,
Yeah,
cause
yeah.
whatever. So we put in like you're
Jeff
drink.
sees this and he's like, "Yeah, I'm out, guys. See ya."
Yeah, yeah. He's like, you can borrow my bass. I'll see you guys later.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Because he's real straight and narrow and stuff, like a Christian guy, like good morals, like trying to do the right thing. Like,
All right, you guys gotta take my shit.
Yeah.
Bye.
no. You guys can borrow the bass. I'll come get it another
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Like, good luck.
Yeah.
So, Bob's drinking, I'm smoking, we're eating Ritalin, we're fucking recording. And I was into like doing samples too. When I first started, I'd always have like people call my answering machine and leave messages saying stupid shit. I trick them into it so that I could take their samples and put them in the songs I was making.
All right.
They'd be like, "Oh, what the fuck?" But anyways, it's like, yeah, we're making the song, like putting these samples in. So we're doing this shit for like 3 days straight. I think we stopped at one point to get some Chinese food from the spot around the corner, which was amazing Chinese food, by the way.
Yeah.
And then we had like 2 songs. Like we had a bunch of shit we were doing. We had 2 songs going. So I think at the end of like night 2 or night 3, Bob's finally like, all right, I gotta go fucking take a nap for a little bit
We've
here.
been up for almost 3 days at this
Yeah,
point.
we're just recording and
I'm like, I just need to sleep for like 2 hours, 3 hours. I'm just gonna go to
And the
sleep for
song
2
is
3
almost
hours.
done, too.
Yeah. I was like, I just need to sleep for like 3 hours, get my wits about me, and I'll be back.
So I'm like, cool, like Bob's sleeping. The song's almost fucking done. I'm gonna put some fucking cool sample into it. Like I said, we've been up for a couple days.
Yeah.
So I go, whatever the sample was, I go to put in. I forgot to switch the fucking tracks. I was trying to put it on 3 and 4. I still had it on 1 and 2. So when I went to go dub the sample in, it just fucking cut out like a 30-second part of the song.
You like erased it? Or
Yeah,
just,
I thought I was adding
you-
shit on extra tracks, and it just fucking cut the whole shit out.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, fuck. So then Bob wakes up a couple hours after his nap, all excited, like, dude, like, all ready to go,
Yeah,
like,
let me get a sample,
yeah,
man.
like, he knew I was doing the sample, so he's all excited, like, yo, like, let's hear it with the sample in there. I'm like, funny story about this. So yeah, I fucking raced like a 30-second period of the song, and it just was all fucked up, but That was our first fucking recording session together.
Yeah, I was like, fuck, I'll go back to sleep.
Like, what the fuck? Like,
I'll go back to sleep.
yeah, so and I'm like, you know what? I might as well go to sleep too. Like, I just fucked this whole thing up. I don't even know what the B-side was, but we were so bummed that like we fucked up this song we've been working on for 3 days. We're like, oh, okay, it's over.
Well, the thing is, like, he did that, but then he tried to fix it.
Oh, yeah,
After that, the whole track is gone.
Yeah, I was like frantically like, fuck, what can I do to fucking make this happen? And no,
It didn't get better.
It definitely didn't get better. So
Yeah. So what ended up happening to the keyboard player? Like later, like does anyone know anything about it?
I would probably say go on Rochester's pedophile list and fucking look. Either that or he's like,
I don't know, man.
he was just so tweaky. I don't know. I always thought he was the Ritalin one, but
and it all from a bad
He
like.
might have had both. I don't know. It was a long
yeah,
time ago.
there was so. So I mean, that's kind of like the person in the band for me. So we know it's Mark and your dad.
Yeah.
Who's your band?
Kiss, hands down.
Kiss, hands down.
Yeah, but the first show I ever went to was Weird Al Yankovic in 1996, and I think that sort of like upstarted me to like what I loved. And then in 1997, my dad took me to see Alice Cooper, which I was already massively into, so that helped too. But seeing Kiss at the arena in 1998 definitely changed my life for sure.
And then what happened like afterwards? Like did you go home and just learn the whole discography?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, it's a funny story. My dad worked at Wegmans, just opened by my house in Black Rock. And my dad was a manager at Wegmans at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And we're driving to the show, and we make it about 4 blocks. And my dad sees some homeless dude with the floor buffer walking down fucking Grant Street. We're in front of Showplace Theater. We were going, literally, because we were heading up down by Military, and my dad's like, what the fuck? And at this point, we're already running a little late.
Did he know it was like the Wegmans floor buffer?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so he calls Wegmans, and he's like, yeah, this homeless dude has your fucking floor buffer. So luckily, like, I thought it was going to be like a 3-hour thing. Luckily, it took like 45 minutes.
You're like, oh, I want to go to the show.
It was my first indoor, like, big arena show, so as soon as you walk in, like, you're engulfed with it compared to like Darien Lake or something like that, which is where I seen Alice Cooper, and it's like outdoors. And I've been to like free shows and stuff at that point. Like my parents have taken me there, but seeing Kiss in that arena and like a full arena around you. Don't forget, this was their second tour after the reunion, or the first tour after the reunion, so they were still huge. But yeah,
did you go with makeup on?
No.
What the
fuck? My second show in 2000.
Okay.
I went with makeup.
Say if you haven't been to a Kiss show with makeup, then you're not even a Kiss fan.
No, I was Gene Simmons for Halloween a whole shitload of times before that. I got my candy stolen on Halloween when I was
dressed like Kiss
makeup. Yep.
Yeah.
They're like, "Where's your axe, motherfucker?"
You know what's really funny? One of the dudes was dressed as Shaggy 2 Dope. Which is
they robbed your candy?
Yeah.
Juggalos robbed you?
Yep.
Shocker.
In Black Rock, yep.
So you're dressed up like Kiss at a Juggalo?
Well, here's the thing. I still don't know which one it was, but me and my brother, like Tim grew up the huge ICP fan. So, and then I started getting into him, but there was this whole bunch of Juggalos, like this crew living in Black Rock. And I would wear Kiss shirts, and Tim would wear Slipknot shirts and ICP shirts, and they wanted to fucking kill us because they said we were like, you guys aren't Juggalos. And we're like, nah, dude, it's chilling, man. And yeah, they stole my fucking candy.
So you got robbed by Shaggy 2 Dope?
Yeah.
Now, my question is, have you worn more Kiss makeup or more clown makeup?
Kiss makeup.
Have you worn clown makeup?
I have, yeah. My first ICP show, Showplace, I wore ICP makeup.
Because I know I've been to a couple clown shows with face paint on too, so you don't got to be embarrassed. You can tell us about it.
Did you wear the face paint when you went?
No.
Did James?
No. Not the first show.
The first show, no.
Oh, okay.
Not Halloween he did though.
Oh yeah, we do have. But we weren't even like we were our own Juggalo crew.
I want to see you in clown.
I was not part of the Juggalo crew.
He actually dressed up like fucking Joey Ramone. He didn't want to be nothing to do with his clown. Yeah. Like, I figured we'd wait till Halloween.
Oh yeah, those pictures I seen.
Where he was Joey.
Him as Joey Ramone and you
as a clown.
I was
like
Facebook somewhere.
Yeah, I was my own kind of clown. I was my own kind of clown at that time. Yeah, I was a little distracted there for a second.
Yeah.
I wanted to wait. We'll wait till Halloween to talk about some clown shows because it's not on brand to what we're talking about today. But we had some pretty fun times at a clown show.
Can we wait till Halloween 2024?
Nah, we'll talk about the clowns. I mean,
you enjoyed the show.
We got our guys there.
Yeah,
they're looking
it was
down.
a good show to go to once and never think about it again.
I always
so this is what happened. Very first clown show, and we started getting into it. The very first time I listened to the Clowns was my very first Smashing Pumpkins concert. On the way to the show, stopped at a record store. They had $1 vinyl. Found the Chicken Hunting single.
Okay.
Was hooked. I had heard a little bit about the Clowns. I didn't know what they were about. Later on, maybe that's the next year. It's like January. It's like 3 degrees outside. Like, we're going to the Clowns. We meet up at Bill's. That's where we meet up. Like, we've been spending months listening, going through the catalog. I think... It was the Great Milenko had just come out?
No, that'd be what, 98?
So maybe it was Riddlebox then. I think it was 97.
Yeah, it's Riddlebox.
So it's January. It's Showplace. We used to park a couple blocks over from Showplace down this one little side street. Just so we could, like, pregame whatever. Now, we kind of had an idea that we were going to get soaking wet and pop, cheap, shitty pop. We didn't really know the extent, so... let's leave our coats in the car, and then we'll go to the show. That way, when we come out, if we're soaked, we'll still have dry jackets. Which is exactly what happened. You get fucking soaked in Faygo.
Yeah, sticky and shit.
And, it's cold standing out in line for a little while, waiting for the doors to open up at 7.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I see what you did.
Yeah, good one.
Yeah. So anyways, like, we get out of the show. We're fucking t-shirts, soaking wet, steam coming off of us. Go over to Bob's car where all our coats are. And we had like 2 carloads of people. We had all met at Bill's. Caravanned up. They hop in their car. They're ready to take off. All right, we'll meet you back at Bill's. Bob's car is locked and his keys are in the car.
In my jacket.
In his jacket.
And you didn't think about it at all the entire time.
I was drinking, man.
Yeah.
So at this point, it's colder than 3 degrees now. It's probably negative temperatures. We're soaking wet in t-shirts.
All right.
Just getting out of this fucking show, right? And it kind of sucks. Like, fuck, like, what? How could you do this? You locked your keys in the car. So we're frantically going down this little side street, knocking on people's doors, like, trying to get somebody to, like, call AAA, give us a coat hanger to get in the car, whatever. And it's me, Bill, Bob, and our buddy Isaiah, who's a Mexican. And we were, like, making jokes like, come on, Isaiah, you're a fucking Mexican. Like, break into... And he's even saying, like, I'm Mexican. Give me a coat hanger. I'll get in this car. Shit like that.
He was confident he could get in the car.
So,
he was confident.
Were you guys confident with his abilities?
No.
Okay, right,
absolutely not. So, like...
Hopeful, maybe, though?
It's probably...
Barely.
Yeah, barely. So, it's, like, almost midnight. We're on this little side street. Kids coming out of a fucking show. Nobody wants to fucking know that we're knocking on their doors. And we're fucking freezing and we're soaked. Finally, a door opens and it's this old guy. And he's like, come on in, get out of the cold.
Well, first he comes out, he looks at the car. We're like, we're kind of going to have to break this window. It's the only way we can get in.
Oh, wait. First he gave us the coat hanger and Isaiah could not unlock the fucking car.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, all right, you're a fucking shitty Mexican.
Oh, jeez.
You couldn't break
my God.
You can't break in.
Are we allowed to say that?
I don't know.
No. We got to take Reed's opinion on this. He's the young one. He's the new generation.
So you failed. You said you were going to break in. You didn't do it. So the guy's like, all right, guys, come on in. Like, I'll get you some fucking milk, some cookies, whatever.
Like, legit.
Yeah, so he's like, come on and warm up. And he's like,
Cookies.
I got AAA. I'll call AAA for you, too. So we're like, fuck yeah. Like, we've been out here for a while. We're fucking almost hypothermia. Walk in this house. Now, this is an old man. And he's giving us cookies and milk. He's getting ready for us.
He's getting ready.
Dude! Yeah, no.
I'm hoping this is where the story goes for podcast purposes. But
so, the best part is
getting ready for us. I thought... Wait.
No, he was
the
getting...
cookies and milk are already served.
No, he's getting...
He already called AAA.
No, he's about
getting
to.
Ready for
he's getting the cookies and milk ready for us.
Okay. Oh,
he's not getting us. He's not getting ready for us. I don't know.
You guys...
Maybe
Here's
so.
some pajamas.
So this is what happens. We walk in this house. We're all cold and wet and freezing, and now we're getting some milk and cookies, so we're a little bit happy. We know AAA's probably going to come at some point. Walk in the door. Down the hall. Door wide open. There's an even older man sitting on a toilet, taking a shit with the door wide open. We walk in, and we just look and like he's just sitting
We look
there.
at him, he looks at us.
Really? You guys made eye contact?
Oh, yeah.
No, sorry, not to.
No, there's like literally you walk in the door and you look down and yeah, eye contact was made. It was pretty fucking awkward. So we're sitting there warming up. We're enjoying our milk and our cookies. The old guy's like, I don't even think he closes the door at any point. He's just still sitting there like looking at us. Eating these cookies. So we're just like, what the fuck, whatever. Like we just left a clown show. Like this shit's getting a little weird at this point.
No wonder why you don't like ICP at all.
So we got Isaiah with us, and now he thinks like he starts acting like he's off his medication. He's not on any medication, but he's pretending he is.
At this point, we're just like, we're warming up. We're kind of feeling like our old, like, rambunctious selves.
Yeah.
And we're like, dude, just start acting a little wacky.
So he's like doing all this weird shit, like shaking, like he's off his medication. And we're like, oh, don't worry about him. His medication's locked in the car. That's why we need to get it. So he's acting all fucking weird.
You were messing with this old guy who let you in when you were soaking wet.
Dude,
And another older guy on the toilet.
So
Oh wait, were you messing with the old guy from the toilet?
no, we
The
made
guy he's still on
eye
the toilet?
contact. Like he might even came out eventually
He
at
was
some point.
sitting there at one point, yeah.
But that was a whole like we made eye contact. We walked in the door. Like it was weird enough and awkward. So
A knowing nod was more than enough.
at some point, like we're sitting there, we got our cookies, we got our milk. Isaiah is off his medication, and like the whole thing's in
Fago.
yeah. So
Picky as fuck.
so at some point, like we're waiting for time to pass, and it's the NFL playoffs are on, and I think the Broncos were playing somebody. I cannot remember.
Green Bay.
Was it they were, or maybe it was the Giants and Green Bay.
Yeah, it was.
It was NFC.
Bay. Yeah.
So I thought maybe it was San Francisco. Actually, was it San Francisco and
Oh, I think you're right.
San Fran and the Giants? Maybe. Anyways, it was like the playoffs were happening. And it was the San Francisco 49ers. So I don't remember who they were playing. Or maybe they were supposed to play Denver in the Super Bowl that year. Which
What
actually,
is this, 97 then, you said?
This is 97. So
Maybe it's the divisional game, Niners against Green Bay or some shit like that.
So anyways, it's like we're passing the time. The guy's like, "You guys like football?" And like obviously like Bill hates football. Isaiah is off his medication. Bob's not trying to talk to anybody. So me being me, I'm like, "Yeah, I fucking love football." So he's like, "Who do you got? Like San Francisco or whoever they were playing?" So I was like feeling whoever they were playing. Like I didn't think San Francisco was gonna make it to the Super Bowl. So this guy gets all fucking angry.
Like
He's
legit angry?
He's like, what? He's like, there's no way they're going to lose. He's like, I have every newspaper clipping of the San Francisco 49ers for the last 25 or 30 years. And
It was Denver versus Green Bay.
in the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
who did San Francisco play in the playoffs that year? Did they lose to Green Bay?
The runner-up was San Fran.
Okay, so they lost to Green Bay then?
Yep.
So it was Green Bay was playing San Francisco.
Okay.
So I was like, and I think it was Brett Favre. I'm like, yeah, Brett Favre's got this. And this guy gets all mad about it. He's like, I got every newspaper clipping for the last 30 years. This guy legit had a stack of newspapers of like every article written about the San Francisco 49ers in like the last 30 years. So like, I was just trying to make conversation with the guy because I knew nobody else was going to get into that talk. And then I picked the wrong team. So he's kind of mad now. Like,
Dude, like, he has a stack of
Yeah,
papers.
he's like-
yelling.
yeah, he's like,
really?
my papers
Yeah,
are,
and he's like-
shaking.
like
Yeah.
throwing all these stats out there. And I'm like, man, like, the Bills are my team, first of all, and like I didn't even want to have this conversation. I just didn't want to like leave this awkward silence where this old guy's like staring at us, the older guy, I should say. And then the funny thing is, like, I seen the Smashing Pumpkins on Super Bowl Sunday in Rochester on the second part of their Melancholy tour. I'd already seen them in July when I got that ICP tape.
Yeah.
And I remember watching the show, and I was watching the fucking scoreboard. And at one point when the guy was calling AAA, he gave him his phone number, so I had his phone number memorized. And I saw that, like, Green Bay or whatever, like, was going to lose. I was going to call the guy up and fucking say something to him about the game, and I just never made it to a payphone to do it. But it was in the back of my head, like, I got to call this fucking guy and say something about this. Keep it going, like, 3 or 4 weeks later. So, yeah, that was our fun.
So AAA ends up coming and
yeah, we got the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
How long were you guys in the house for?
Too long?
Over an hour.
Yeah.
Maybe less than 2.
And how long did the other dude pretend he was off his med for?
The whole time.
Yeah. As soon as we warmed up.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Because there was a heat vent coming up off the floor, and so he's just, I'm like, dude, sit on it and just rock back and forth.
Yeah, he was just doing this the whole time, like. And then he was doing like the shake and like this too, and then the old guys are like,
"Is he okay?"
His meds are in the car. That's why we're trying to get in there.
And so for the rest of the time, were they just like not even paying attention to him?
No, that dude was pissed off about the fucking football thing. So after that happened,
but that like leveled the playing field. Look, they're gonna start saying shit.
Yeah. So I mean,
did you guys leave on good terms after his?
I don't even remember. AAA came and we got the fuck out of there. Like I said, I memorized the guy's number. I was gonna call him on Super Bowl Sunday and say something to him, and then I just never got into a payphone to do it. So yeah, that was our first fucking ICP show.
It's a good one.
And like, how could you really top like an ICP show after that? I mean, you can, because we'll talk about it on Halloween. Yeah. But that was number 1. So yeah, that was. I guess Bob was my influential person to start a band, and then Sublime was my influential band. So what was your influence? Let's do a non-Kiss show, because obviously you're Kiss till the day you die.
Okay, and I guess non-Alice Cooper too then. So Circle Jerks and GBH at Showplace Theater.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, because that punk to me was like, it was always about the music first, but I didn't know shit about what the shows are actually like.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you get there, you know, what was your first punk show ever? Do you remember?
What was that Green Day show?
Oh yeah, okay. What about like smaller show though, like a club? Well, I guess Green Day was sort of.
My first club show is my influential show that made me wanna go out and rock, so to speak.
All right.
No, tell us about the Circle Jerks GBH.
Yeah. Well, this goes back to the Juggalo kids.
Uh-huh.
So I used to get to shows like 5-6 hours early.
Because you live 2 streets away.
I live 2 streets away.
I wonder if we ever parked in front of your house, like at a show while we were at shows. We were out there drinking and smoking in the fucking Fairmont.
Where did you guys? Did you guys park like off of like by like Mighty and shit down that way, where that used to be?
The little side street.
Oh,
like right next to Mighty though.
Yeah, no, it was like 5 minutes from my house walking distance. But and we were waiting and stuff, and a whole bunch of these Juggalo kids came over and started fucking with us again. And that ends up dying out. They come back like 4 hours later, but like 15 of our friends showed up. Like they had already been, like they just showed up. You know what I mean? We didn't even know that they knew anything about Circle Jerks.
Were they going to the show?
Yeah, they were.
Okay.
And then the Juggalos came back, seen us with the kids, and never fucked with us again after that time. And I don't know what because we didn't even
gang.
Yeah, I mean, I think we just showed up until that point, because they were just neighborhood kids with us, so they thought that we didn't really have anyone else, because we lived on a dead end street, which is where they would always go down and tag everything with Buffalo Juggalos and all this fucking shit. Fucking hatchet.
We're just dead end kids doing lifetime bids.
One time, we were standing outside, and like, since we lived on a dead end, we were the very last house, and we had like a little plot of land, and me and my brother and our friends were chilling there, just hanging out one day, and the Juggalo kids, all of a sudden, we're sitting there, and my brother goes like this. He got shot and this close to his temple with a fucking paintball. He's all purple, running down, like, right on his fucking face. Right there.
By the Juggalos?
Yeah, because they never fucked with us again after that show. But we found out years later they were the ones who shot him with the fucking paintball.
You know what would have been awesome if a Juggalo would have invented a paintball? They had pre-packaged clown makeup. So you shoot the person in the forehead, and it turns into like a...
Isn't there a Simpsons episode with the shotgun, the makeup shotgun that Homer invented?
Oh, yeah. Shit, yeah, man. That's hilarious.
The Simpsons predicted it.
Yep.
So, like, you just had this neighborhood beef with the Juggalo kids?
Yeah, for a long time. But then when me and my brother went to our first ICP show and they seen us there like singing and stuff, they were,
Did you get the hugs and
yeah,
sharing a
and,
bottle of fucking
and
Moon
the
Mist?
word clown love, whatever. The
Oh, yeah,
fuck
much
that
clown
means.
love.
Clown love.
You had much clown love at the time. So what happened at the Circle Jerks and GBH show?
Keith Morris was completely fucked up. He
Surprise.
was talking about. Well, first of all, GBH played first, and it was fucking awesome. They definitely stole the show. There was probably about 250 kids in that club, and what did it hold? Like 350, something like that, 325. It was the first pit I was ever in, which I hate saying, but like it was the first time where I wasn't like afraid. You know what I mean? Like, cause Goldfinger and Real Big Fish.
I'll say you had the Goldfinger or the Real Big Fish song in your head in the pit.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna punch and kick.
I actually really like that song. But that's, you know what, when we talk about with guilty pleasures and shit, like Real Big Fish is one of those bands. But anyways, so Circle Jerks and GBH. After GBH played, Circle Jerks played, but Keith was so fucked up. He went on like literally, I'm not lying, a 25-minute diatribe about Hillary Duff and the Disney Channel.
Mm-hmm.
And like this is in like 2005 or 6. About 100 people left.
But really?
Yeah, and they surrounded their tour bus.
I heard a little something about that happened. I didn't know why it happened.
And then so they keep.
Were these Hillary Duff fans that were fucking pissed?
No, little girl. No, that was my celebrity crush as a kid, though. Was Hillary Duff.
Nice.
So yeah, but anyways.
So you were pissed too, like fuck you,
like,
Keith
what the
Morris,
fuck, man. I was the first one back
I'm
to the
gonna
bus. No,
I'm gonna fucking hit you with a bottle of Faygo, asshole.
But no, that and then that was my first introduction into like the underground punk
and
world.
you're like, man, this is fucking amazing.
And it was all, it's not like it was the newer punk generation
Yeah.
with this shit either, but like it was
You got to see the chaos up close and you were fucking hooked.
Yeah, and I met a lot of people at that time that I still talk to this day, and they're...
See, my first club show kind of had the same thing. And again, somehow Bob weaves his way into all three of these stories, so...
I think it's like that's what happens in relationships, James.
So... So anyways, like... this is probably like my third concert ever, like real show. We used to, when we were driving around in Buffalo, listening to 40 Ounces of Freedom.
Yeah.
Bob has a fake ID, so he's at the head shop, and we're buying clove cigarettes, the Dejarum unfiltered cloves. Now, the band Space Hog is coming into town at Showplace Theater, and tickets were like $6, $12, I don't even fucking remember.
Yeah.
I still got the stub. And I'd never been to a club show, and we go up, and Bob goes in. I'm not even allowed in Terrapin yet, because I got no fake ID. And we get these tickets. And they had, like, they were on MTV. They had the song In the Meantime was kind of busting out a little bit. And it would be on, like, 102.1. We'd listen to that shit. So, like, yeah, we're going to go to this fucking show.
Whatever happened to that band? They were pretty fucking good.
So, we go to the show. And day comes, like, all right, going to the... Didn't know about clubs. Didn't know about... Like, I knew about Kenzie's because I used to go to them hardcore matinees. But that was more of a bar. Right, it wasn't, like, a Showplace Theater type of club.
Like a music club, yeah.
So... all excited, like, and at this point, like I said, it's my third concert. I'd already been to 2, so I already think, like, I'm a fucking veteran of the concert world. Like, yeah, like, I go to shows, I'm in pits, whatever. Seen White Zombie, the Ramones, Green Day, like, I'm a concert guy, whatever. Whatever you want to call it. I'm a concert guy.
No, I know that feeling. Once you go to one, like, you know you're in, and that's just sort of...
So, me and Bob and his buddy Derek go to the show. And we park in our little spot, which is probably in your front yard. Or it was in front of the old guy's house that a year later would fucking give us milk and cookies. Whatever, we're in that spot. And I do believe this is the same one. We're walking across the street, and there's a red light. We're crossing Grant to get to Showplace. Bob's a little bit ahead of us. The light turns green. The car starts to go, like it's going to run Bob over. So then Bob starts... pounding on this guy's hood.
I pounded once.
It was like
with both.
It was like
it
was like 2. It was like there was at least 2. There was like. So the guy throws the shit in park.
That counts as one.
Me and Derek are kind of like walking behind him a little bit, and the guy, and we're like, "What the fuck?" The guy throws the shit in park. He gets out and he's talking shit. Bob's talking shit, and this dude's like, "You fucking asshole! Like you going to the fucking show? I'll break your fucking leg." It'd be like hard to go to a show with broken legs or some shit. Bob's like, "Fuck you." watch the pedestrians. Like, this dude's like, I'm an off-duty cop. I'll kick your ass. Blah blah blah.
And I'm like, if you're a cop, you'd fucking know that.
So we're not even in the show. Like, shit's already about popping off. Like, we're looking at the door. So then, get in line, walk in the Showplace Theater, and it's like fucking walk. Even though it's dirty and dingy, for me, it's like walking into the fucking Babylon.
Yep.
Like, you just see posters, stickers, like weirdos.
Yep.
I'm like, holy fuck, where has this been my whole life? Like, I love this. Like, I was a concert guy, but now I'm a club show guy. Like, I don't go to these big shows anymore. I only go to small clubs for shows. I haven't even fucking walked all the way in the door yet. I'm a club guy now. So, we're at this show, and it's Space Hog. And it was, Tracy Bonham was the opener. And she had, like, a little MTV thing with the song Mother, Mother.
Yeah.
So, I'm trying to think of exactly when it started. When the incident happened. So anyways, like, we're in the show. I don't even think Tracy Bonham had come out yet, but we're standing there. There's people around us. There's a woman in front of us, like, just dancing in her own world, just vibing by herself, like, doing some Stevie Nicks shit. She's got a drink in one hand.
That's exactly what I thought of when you just said that. With Stevie Nicks by
Singing in the
herself.
other hand. Wearing a black dress, a black cardigan, black hair. Just vibing, just doing their own thing. I'm a club guy now, so I'm like, this is my life. We got these people around us, and I'm just like being an asshole. Like, you could smell the hairspray too. So I'm just like kind of being an asshole and taking my lighter and like flicking it behind this person while they're dancing, just to see if the hairspray would catch on fire.
I can Wayne's World too.
So nefarious.
Yeah, so just being an ass because people are around, they're amused, like we're all laughing, and then at some point, I don't know if it was Bob or if it was Derek, was like, "Yo, that's not a woman, that's a man." I'm like, "No no fucking way." So he's like, "Yeah, check it out. Like, this person's got a fucking Adam's apple. It's a man." Like, no fucking way. Like, really? Now, just for a disclaimer, what happened was not out of hate, the following stuff.
Alright.
Because, listen, I've worn dresses to school. I've worn wigs on stage. I've worn feather boas. I grew up, Boy George was my fucking childhood idol when I was like 4.
That's interesting. Let's talk about that sometime.
This was a different time, is what you're trying to say.
So, whatever happened here was not a hateful thing. It was just me being a fucking funny guy kind of thing.
Yeah, I get it.
So, like, no fucking way, this can't be a fucking woman. So, we're just kind of like, so it's intensifying the activity. I'm like being more of a smartass. There's more people. We're all just kind of like chilling and like getting a laugh. So when Tracy Bonham, the band, comes out on the stage, Derek's like, I want to crowd surf. So me and Bob go to pick him up. And at some point, like, this person is about to light a cig. We're picking Derek up the crowd surf. Somehow Derek's foot hits this person in the side of the head, breaks the cigarette, knocks the fucking wig off. So confirmation, yes, it is a man.
Okay.
Dressed like a woman. Like I said, no hate involved. This is strictly fun. But I'm like, oh shit, you're right. It is a fucking man. So this person's pissed now. Like the band's playing. It's kind of pitting.
Fucking rage.
Yeah,
I was about to ask.
Turns around and just
if looks could
eyes.
If looks could kill.
Yeah.
Like
you don't fuck with
this person.
So wig, dude.
Yeah. So me and like I said, like no hate involved, but the wig is flying. So I'm like, I kind of want a fucking wig myself. $5 anybody who gets me the wig, right? Yeah. I say this. All of a sudden, like the pit's going, the band's playing. The wig is fucking flying around like a beach ball throughout the crowd. This person is just fucking running through the pit, just fucking people
crushing
up.
people.
And we're like, oh shit. So like, it turned into this whole moment, like getting this person hyped up, and like I want the wig, and now like and like I said, there's a crowd of people around us, so they're kind of amused, and it's turning into this whole fucking thing. And this person is not so amused. Like, this person wants their fucking wig back, but I want to buy the wig for $5. So this whole shit's going on. Even to the point, like, we're making jokes about it. This person finally recovers the wig and kind of goes and stands off to the side. But just standing there just fucking looking at me and
so
just
you
going...
never got the wig?
just pointing at me. Like every time I look around, I just
Yeah.
fucking stare.
Fuck, I forgot
And
about
point.
the point. I forgot about the point.
Like it wants to
There's
fucking
like this guy just kind of there,
yeah.
staring at
A
you.
guy dressed like a woman with the wig, all the wig's all disheveled at this point too.
There's
Oh,
like
is
the
it the same
Yeah,
guy?
Yeah, and it's like the black sheer like pantyhose that goes underneath the wig.
yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah,
that
the
through.
the skull
Like,
cap.
dude,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
totally had like a Witches of Eastwick fucking feel. Like
So every time I look over, and like we got this little group of people that we've been like kind of talking throughout the show, and then we're just like, what the fuck is going on here? So I'm still being an asshole because now I'm a fucking club guy.
How many people were you with?
It was
Fuck,
me.
because that's when you guys met Jim and
Well, yeah,
everything the
I
first
didn't
time,
get to.
too.
I'll
Yeah.
get to the gym thing at the end, but it's just me, Bob, and Derek.
Okay.
And then like, and meanwhile, like Tracy Bonham's playing, and we're like so stoked. Like this drummer's like this big goofy dude with like playing drums, big wild hair, and then Tracy Bonham's just like this tiny little lady, and like they walk into the crowd, and we like meet them, shake their hands, and the dude's got all these beers. He's just like got from the bar, and he's taking them to like.
Dude, they're just giving me free beer.
And he's like all excited. So like this is like the first like legit band I'd ever met. So I was all stoked, like, yo, we just met this fucking band. And then like at some point like Space Hog's going on, so the lead singer's just like walking through the crowd to get to the stage, and I'm thinking the whole time like this dude's fucking married to Liv Tyler, and like I had a huge crush on her, so like maybe she's at the show, and like maybe I could fucking like. She decides she doesn't like British rock star guys. She likes like 15-year-old smart ass Green Day fans. And
Buffalo.
we're gonna hop on the Aerosmith plane and fly off into the sunset together or something.
James was on the Aerosmith jet.
You know, you're a normal club kid.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
not a
just
club
fancy.
kid now. You're a stadium dude.
I don't do stadiums. Like I can't go to the Aerosmith show, but I'll do the Joe Perry fucking one-off show at the club. So anyways, like the whole time this show is going on, and like this person every time I look over is just staring, and we're talking to this like group of kids next to us, and we're just like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. So then like at the end of the show, they're about to play In the Meantime, their big hit, and you know shit's about to pop off. Like Liv Tyler isn't coming out and taking me to the airport or nothing. So, so we're just like kind of standing there, and like it's the end of the song, and the person like and plus. Like, we're kind of moving around a little bit, and this person's, like, moving strategically in different places, and just with the pointing and the staring.
At the very end of the show.
Just throughout the show. So at the end, like, it gets kind of close.
Yeah.
And it gets next to this kid, and, like, we're chatting with this kid, whatever, and he had this, like, super dope, like, thrift store fucking jacket, all wool, like, super dope coat. Like, something Billy Corrigan would wear, and, like, yo, dude, that's the most amazing coat I've ever seen. We're sitting there talking, and as the song is going on, this person is going to, like, make its move at me, but this guy is in the way, so he grabs the guy by the arm and starts fucking pulling him. And this kid, like, he's tall and skinny, or not tall, he's as tall as me, and is like a skinny little dude, and he just got this look of sheer terror on his face. So I grab his other arm and fucking pull him back, like, me and the person are legit having a tug-of-war with this guy, and he's just like, what the fuck? And then...
But he knew that you were already...
The kid or
The kid knew
Yeah.
that you were
No, because the
already,
kid,
like-
we were talking to him throughout the show, and we were like, what is going on here? We're like, I don't fucking know. So we're playing tug-of-war with this guy, and he's just got a look of terror in his face, like, what the fuck is even going on here? I finally, like, get enough power to pull him away from the dude, and then, like, the show is over, like, the crowd's, like, getting out, and I feel like, all right, I'm gonna have to fight this dude or something, or, like, it's gonna go down. So we're kind of waiting around to see if shit happens, and then the person had disappeared, so we didn't end up fighting or anything. But the dude that got caught in the tug-of-war, me, Bob, and Derek, we went out with their crew. We went to, like, Perkins afterwards or something, and had some pancakes or whatever, and we're just like, what the fuck even happened? Like, what was going on there? Like, that was so crazy. We ended up becoming friends with this crew of people. Friends to this day, too. Like, Jim lives out in New York City now. Like, I just went and visited him a couple years ago. Like, every time we go there, get some dinner or whatever. But we used to meet up at shows. That was like our new little club kids crew. The club.
We knew because they went to Nichols, like, with Derek. And
Yeah.
So, like, I met them a couple times. but
Well,
that was,
one of the
like,
girls or
solidified.
one of the people went there, but they went to Hamburg.
Oh, that's right.
And remember, they
Okay.
had like a battle of the bands at their school, and Happily Medium was playing.
Yes. Yep.
And when this is like a local band that we had already known about from seeing a show place, and we're like, oh shit, like Happily Medium's playing at your school, like. So like we just ended up like hanging out with these kids.
It was what, at Nichols?
This was at Hamburg. I think
okay,
one of the other
Hamburg.
kids went to Nichols, but this was at a Hamburg school, and they came. Like our school had a thing. They came down. I actually ended up wearing a dress to school at this like band thing that we were having at school.
All right.
Just a whole weird thing. So.
Dude, I went to college with the.
And you went, yeah, you ended up going to college with the dude. So I mean, for me, like I guess, yeah, Mr. Bob had a lot to do with my influences of being in bands, and then, you know, fighting cross dressers at show place and driving around, waiting for Bradley Noel to.
What ended up happening with? Did anything else end up happening with that person though?
No, I thought there was going to be a fight, and then that person just was nowhere to be found after. Like, as soon as the show was over and everybody was kind of getting out, like the person must have slipped out and just left. Like I thought that person would have been out in the fucking street, like waiting to fight. But maybe just saw like we had power in numbers. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, probably because you met all those people.
Yeah. So I mean, that's pretty much shit like that's what inspired me to eventually, you know, get a band and play a guitar and blah blah blah, do a bunch of shit, and then years later be like retired and fat and out of shape and all right, let's sit on the couch and talk about it now.
Well, yeah. So those are good. I think we pretty much nailed down the influences and stuff like that. So next week, kitchen's closed.
Yeah.